Negative God. The Negative God of War. Hold on. Character Graveyard. We shall see what goes happen there. What do you call the character graveyard? Welcome to the character graveyard. This world of God of War's rejected characters go to die. Press R2 on each character to learn more about them. Press the select button and choose return to returns to leave the graveyard. Jimmy Yaffe, game director of God of War. Very well, let's start with this guy right. Who is that? Kratos version 1, giant in a diaper. This is a placeholder of the hero. We needed something to put in the game where we were still locking design of Kratos. The model was always meant to be a throwaway model, but even so, I have no clue why the artist chose a model of a fat guy wearing a diaper. Boy, if Kratos only knew what he looked like back that way then. I looked like that way then? Such an insult! What about this guy right here? He looks like a normal super warrior. Kratos version 2, medieval warrior. I see why you got rid of this one. This model looks too medieval for the ancient Greek setting. Still, I like this guy. I think he's kind of cool. There's something very heroic about him that works for me. The reason why I never used him because he was never heroic at all. Ooh, this one looks pretty good too. Kratos vs. 3, Dreadlocks. Our first art director wanted this to be the hero. I can tell that he really went into this design and tried to support it. But this didn't sit well with me. This model is not brutal enough. Not vicious enough to be the art of God of War. I'm glad we changed it, even though I think it's made the art director really mad. This armor will return. Kratos version 4, cool armor Kratos, which was used later on in God of War 2. This is my favorite design for Kratos. We cannot use it, however, because there was too much detail in the armor. When we put this in the game, it meant that details background of the hero did not look very good. Maybe if we make another Kratos game or more powerful hardware, we could use this cool outfit. It would look better on the new newer technology. PlayStation 3. Ooh, what's this one? Blue tattoo version of Kratos. This was almost the final design. I really wanted red tattoos with white skin, but it felt cool that Kratos' name was too cliche, so I decided on blue. It was blue for a while, but I just couldn't not look at it. Like I said, red tattoos were the way to go. Looking at it now, I'm glad we changed his look. As red tattoos a little lot better. Okay, 2 generic. What's this, Slendy woman? Which actually looks like charge complete. No need for controller now. Medusa version 1, quintuple feet. The main thing to know is her feet. In her final game, she has no feet, just a tail. How many 5s feet slithering all around just proved to be too much. Also note that the character has Nepals. She's created at the start of the game and all the female monsters had Nepals. Most likely even a peni. What do you need a pen for? Why would a Cyclops have a pen just writing on all over the place? I really wanted the monsters to come off like wild animals, like a things you would see at the zoo, so I thought these elements helped. Every day we got to keep in Nepals, but we lost a peni. Lost a pen on the Cyclops. Poor Cyclops. This is price you pay to find lasers at the humans and the mutants. Skeleton version 1, old school. Inspired by live-action adventure movies, many we just grew up with. This was our first skeleton zombie undead soldier. Short version, we felt this was just too plain design for today's audience. It was a hard call if a similar designs really resonated with those who had grown up with adventure flicks of the 1970s. But we wanted God of War's characters to be more original, so I scrapped the idea. Okay, that looks pretty cool too. Kratos, get out of the way, I can't see this. Let's go to version 2, Helmet Head. A really great design. I love the skeleton's head and how the bone itself is shaped like a rolling great helmet. However, cool as the design was, it didn't look like it got back when we got 5 feet of these guys on screen. So we went with something simple. A centaur. Centaur original design. I originally wanted the centaur to be a heckin' hellish nightmare style of a creature. In this first design, you can see he's wearing a tribal war mask. It also has all the skin removed so you can just see the tendons, beads, and vines. But, as you can see, we just didn't have the texture resolution to pull this idea off. Instead of being creepy and nasty, it looks like money unfinished. So I ended up scrapping this idea. I salute you, original centaur. Okay, that's ugly. You are an ugly mother-lover, frogman. This was our first pass at a Cyclops. Distracted because they could see, it sort of looked like a frog. It was totally non-threatening design, and I'm glad we killed it. Red Eye. We're having a hard time getting a single eye of a Cyclops models to read. It was really hard for players to see that not only had one eye, so this model was attempted to bring the single eye concept to the attention of players. However, this attempt feels short, just look goofy. Kind of sucks that even our final Cyclops that won in the game now still doesn't really look like he just has one eye. Ah well, maybe next time. Cyclops 3, Human Face. Oh wait, it kinda does look like a human face. Rival Karen gives away that it's not human at all. I really like this guy. Just me out because it looks like a human face stuck onto a beastly body. The thing is, it didn't really fit the vibe of the game. Instead, this Cyclops came across as sad and human. I actually felt sorry for him. I pity you. This one looks like a gorilla. Cartoon Cyclops. This guy felt too cartoony for the game. This version is more like a character you see in a T-rated platformer. You're right, it looks ridiculous. Oh, this one though I like. Action figure. Oh, okay, so action figure, that's why. This one was pretty neat, but it was just too cartoony. It felt like a toy. The skull's on my chest made it feel like one of the accessories they gave when you buy an action figure. Yeah, it does. This one, though, I actually like better than the first one. Patchwork Cyclops. Now this guy was nasty. Still think it was pretty cool. Look at him now, I'm wondering why we didn't use him. I am sure there was a good reason, but I just can't recall. Sure, that looks bad, but it could have been fixed. But the texture looks pretty cool. Gotta keep this guy in mind for future projects. He's great. Back where we started. Portal, hurry! Return to the treasures. There's more than just that one thing. What else have we sent upon? And then I figure out what happened to the pages of my title. Well, that's not different than normal. I'm making a God of War!
God of War's been in development for about 3 years, roughly. It's including a fairly lengthy pre-production cycle. And basically, it came from Dave Jaffe's head.
There were so many ready-made play mechanics and gameplay mechanics in the Greek myths already that it was just like Medusa's head and Zeus's thunderbolts and battling Cyclopses, and that mixed with just my love of the material was like, okay, this is what we got to do. We got to do this game.
Dave Jaffe came up to me and goes, "What do you think about Greek mythology?" I was immediately intrigued by it. When they said, "Hey, we're thinking about Greek mythology for God of War," I was like, "Yeah, let's definitely do that." The creative director of the game, Dave Jaffe, definitely comes up with a lot of this kind of stuff, and he, likes to involve the team in the design. So comes up with ideas. We sit around. He comes around, asks us his famous 1 to 10. What do you think about this idea?
God of War is our attempt to really elevate the action-adventure genre to the next level. We wanted to bring combat, exploration, navigation, puzzle solving, all sort of the classic elements of the genre, but we wanted to bring those to players in a fresh way, in a way that they haven't really seen before, and also at a scope and at a level of sort of this epic feel that they haven't really gotten before in a game.
That's the whole idea behind God of War. Is it's not just a game. It's an adventure like a movie.
The sheer amount of concept art and work that went into developing all the characters and the look and feel of the game is pretty unique. I've never seen so much effort put into
I never realized this,
concept
but
in the
it
game
looks like an
now,
eye.
making sure that every environment
It's like
is
staring
unique
back at
and fits in with the theme of the game overall.
Well, I'm sorry,
I
back
gave
in
them my
it.
influence. It's really to their credit that they were able to sort of extrapolate what I was really going for into art, amazing art. So I ended up sort of getting what I wanted, which was this high adventure, amazing fantasy setting, which was inspired by the stuff that I grew up with, the movies that I grew up watching. But exactly how the game ended up looking the way it did was really, you'd have to ask the artist.
Charlie Nguyen has been part of the studio for quite some time, and what he's brought to God of War is extremely valuable.
A lot of my job is to create images of what the game feels like.
The mood of the game is dark. The main character Kratos is a very disturbed character.
The things I said to him, I said brutal, nasty, violent, antisocial, pissed off, angry, fuck you. That was my direction to Charlie.
The hardest part about
Forget you too,
making
sir.
Kratos was that the storyline wasn't really there yet, and so I was trying to create a character that didn't have that story behind him yet.
I just said, come into work and get angry and see what happens. What they came back with was their versions of anger and the things that they were mad at and the things that, it was really kind of neat because you got to look at the concept art and kind of see how everybody dealt with anger and madness and chaos. The solution was to sort of start stripping away everything. Every time we took away a piece of armor, every time we took away a helmet, a shield, we started seeing more of this animalistic side to this character. Once we got that, it was just an issue of whittling it down, from those 15 images, all of which felt the most brutal, and said out of all these 15, that's the one.
This is alright, except no blue. There we go. Got it right.
God of War is our attempt to really elevate the action-adventure genre to the next level.
We're trying to do so much right now. We want to bring this, this experience to people, and we want it to be realistic. In order to do that, we have to push the PlayStation 2 as far as it possibly can go.
We use a well-known art package called Maya to do almost everything in our game.
When we first started the game, it was how do you create beautiful, lush environments that are high polygon count, high texture detail, beautiful lighting, and just consistent through the game.
Technologically, 4 or 5 years into a console, most of the big problems have been solved. So it's just a question of doing it better than everyone else.
You first start with the sheet, and the sheet is also known as collision. That's the very bare bones, minimum level of detail that the player actually interacts on. Any of these walls, the player can't go beyond. So this is the confines of a level. This is what you're actually playing in, but that's not what you see. That's what the game's running in the background. If I turn the sheet off, now you can see there's actual artwork associated with that.
Well, we definitely wanted to make the player feel like they were in ancient Greece.
It's to go from really dark, depressing feelings where you feel like I just want to get out of here, to very bright, and you're in the desert, and it's to make you feel like, wow, okay, it's a vast world, it's a really big world out there.
God of War is it's gonna look real, but it's also gonna have a take to it, like a little bit of a fantasy twist, over the top, like
blood and guts. I don't think that there's any other PlayStation game that achieves that that's out there.
Every character in the game starts out with a single pose that every single animation derives from. Starting a move like this, bring in the base pose, and then kind of just start to block a few things out. Maybe even with general, just kind of moving the whole character all as one, getting the timing for things, and then building out from the pelvis. So get the pelvis motion right, then get the chest involved with the pelvis, then maybe start doing the arms, come back with the legs, then finish with the head and fingers. So sort of whittling down until they get to that final roll. The original vision, I think, what we wanted was very, very brutal.
It's funny because we were like, let's go find some fight scenes in movies, and that's how we want this guy to move, and that's how nasty we want him to be. And it's weird because when we thought we'd find all these great movies, movie fights are really kind of tame when you think about it. And we actually only 2 or 3 movies that really obscure films too. That really, when you saw it, you were like, oh my god, that is just some nasty stuff.
There's been quite a few gameplay design sessions or meetings with the animators where we get extremely we move around a lot. My setup situation as I'm putting enemies into the game and I'm trying to get them very playable so that they can be placed in levels and go around is this big cartoony shaped, very bright arena, and it's just a big wide open space, and I put the guys in that, and I fight with them there, I tune them there, I set up all their moves and combos and their reactions.
The Medusa head animation, ripping the head off the Medusa, very long development cycle for that one. It was redone several times.
We obsessed over it. I pissed off everybody. The animations aren't brutal enough. The art's not brutal enough. There's not enough blood. I want this game to make players just go nuts and feel that sense of anger and chaos.
We're really, really hammering the quality and trying to get it to be as top-notch as we can get it. There are several other games out there that I would consider that are kind of the top tier in animation, and we're trying to either meet or exceed what they do.
People are going to go, oh my god, this is what action-adventure games have supposed to have been since the very beginning. I would say this is the game I've been wanting to make since I was a little kid.
God of War, from a production perspective, has been extremely challenging. There's a number of areas that we've really been pressed. Time, money, resources.
Making the game was definitely a fight. Me and the team butted heads a lot, and there was this anger, I guess, that built up inside of me that I think I really transferred over to Kratos. And I look at Kratos now, and it's like, that's me.
I think we verbally abuse each other multiple times during the day. It's one of those, it's a great high-low thing. We start out the day, we're really happy, and then throughout the day we get very upset with each other, and then happy with each other, and then upset, and hopefully we can leave when we're happy with each other, and then we come back and we're happy with each other. And then
I'm always the guy that the engineers want to strangle because I try to absolutely push this engine to the max.
We wanted to strangle each other at least once a week.
The prospect of beating the shit out of other workers has occasionally arisen.
We have not actually had any fist fights on the game yet.
No, fist fights certainly aren't allowed in a professional environment.
If we're going to get into a physical fight, it's going to happen in the next 3 months. We're going into the most stressful time of making a game, which is the alpha-beta process.
Alpha, baby.
What about the Mega?
So
Wait, that's actually
we're
the symbol
an
of
hour
the
from alpha. Nothing's tuned and nothing's finished.
That's my old question with another question.
He's tired.
Tired. That's my question with the title of the game.
This is what Alpha is, right? All the pieces are there, but it doesn't play right yet, and it doesn't feel right yet, and
there are a couple of big bugs that people are working on. If we don't get them by 7, then we'll get them done by 8 or 9 or 10.
Three years and we're almost done. Light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm so happy we're an hour away from being able to say at least we have a game.
Playtesting is fantastically important, and this is the first game that we've really gone to town on the playtesting while the game has been in development. We'll bring 5 or 6 people in from the local colleges, and we'll sit them down in front of the latest version of whatever level we've been building, and we'll watch them play it, and we'll notice all the things that they don't do right, or all the times that they can't find the way to solve a puzzle because we've obviously not highlighted it well enough, or if they can't see the door in the background, then we'll add an extra light in so it's highlighted. It's really kind of like making it's like making a movie.
I'm more impressed if I actually get the past pillars.
At the beginning of the
because that's where most people
complained
complained at.
A playtesting room in our office.
But hey, at least they did their jobs.
To be a very good decision.
All that hard work, you actually got it right. Good for you.
So good to be
E3.
titles this year, so hopefully we'll get some
E3 God of War 3. But I used to play that before oh yeah. The reason why I stopped playing it because I took a long break. But as soon as I played the sequel, only then will we actually play the game again. Only then will it finally end. Only then will we finally get it right.
I think whether you're in
only
or
then
not, I think
will we play the fourth one.
A game made by passionate people.
God of War is a game that anyone can pick up and play and have a really fun experience.
You should play God of War because it'll get you laid.
The last part's really hard.
That the back of the box has always promised you.
God of War is fucking rad.
Always swearing is actually making me laugh. The way it levels.
This is our sort of batch of things that you didn't get to see. That some of them I'm glad you didn't, and some of them I wish you would have, time permitting, but it wasn't. So here we go. Okay, now this is actually this wasn't a deleted level. This was the prototype that the team put together. I don't even know what the date on this is, but 3 years ago, and
that would be pretty good for a medieval game. But I don't know
the basic mechanics, not even too.
I see why you got rid of it.
You
Too
can run,
medievalish.
You can swim, you can swing, and if you look at this level a little bit, you'll see. We certainly didn't reuse any of the main art, but you'll see kind of like that shot there is sort of the precursor to some of the shots we have in the game. The rope swinging mechanic, and a lot of this, so you'll recognize if you've played the game and remember the game, you'll recognize some of the level when you pull into Athens at first. This bottom section is based on that.
Icarus Wings.
And the whole cliffs that you climb here, we actually just sort of ripped these out directly from the demo and built the cliffs level, the Cliffs of Madness or the Cliffs of Insanity. I forget what we ended up calling it.
Cliffs of Madness. You got it right the first time.
Running around, he looks so not like Kratos. That guy there was the original Cyclops who's dying, who just never really looked like a Cyclops. He just looked like a big guy with a stick. And then this was the room, the only room that we built that was like the final room, and everything else was kind of rough. And I remember seeing this and going, everybody saw this and said, man, this looks awesome. And then we were like, yeah, but how in the hell are we going to get all the levels in the game looking as good as that?
So easy. Try again.
I don't know if we ended up getting them all looking as good as that, but I think we came a lot closer than I thought we would. This level's pretty cool. This was our test level for the Icarus wings. So when Icarus and Daedalus, the Icarus story where he flew too close to the sun with the wings that he had made, and the wax melted and he fell to his death. That was sort of the inspiration for the mechanic, and I still love this. I absolutely wish this had made it into the game. We just, it really came down to time and going, you know what, let's focus, let's get our fighting really good, and let's get our platforming better, and let's get our puzzles working, and maybe we can come back to this, and as is often the case, you just never have the chance to. So I'd love to see something like this in future God of War titles, because I think it's a great. It's just fun. I mean, it's fun to fly around. And what was cool about this is it wasn't just a flying level. It was, you could land and you could walk around, and it was a seamless experience versus, now it's time for the flying level. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I look at this now, I'm like, damn, we should have gotten that in. Awesome. These were the original Harpies. They were a lot bigger. They still read better. They look awesome, but we just realized we needed more of like a bat-like, small, like little annoyance enemy. These guys played like the skeletons, basically, flying versions of the skeletons, and there just wasn't much of a difference in gameplay, so we ended up kind of shrinking them down and making them bats. And this was what we call the Mounting the Titan level, which is Kronos the giant titan in the desert. And sadly, right now, the only way you get on the Titan is through a movie. And originally, this was how it was going to be. You see this big, it's like a big watermelon in the background. That's actually Kronos. And Tobin, the designer, he's got him kind of moving towards the player. And those things that are falling are like mountains that are crumbling and stuff. So it's kind of like Kronos is rushing towards the player, and you're trying to run ahead of him in these platforming sections, so that you can ultimately jump onto the structure that's on his back, and that'll lead you up to the temple. And I still love that idea. I really wish we could have done it. And it was just, we showed this to the tech guys, and we showed it to the artists, and they were just like, dude, that's going to take forever. This was the original boss. There was a boss that originally, that's awesome, that originally guarded Pandora's box. And again, we just didn't have time, and I know it's lame that that's the one thing I regret about
if I fought that boss, I probably would have been dead on the spot. I was virtually low on health that time.
Guard the box. You have the Minotaur boss down below, and then we've got this conveyor belt section, and that's kind of it. And we just ran out of time.
Giant bird.
Really cool. It was, you had this moving platform up above, you had this giant kind of harpy vulture in the center.
Takes time, you saved my life.
No, takes time. You
saved my time.
And
we can keep time
sort of entice her
and
to fly around.
have some fun times together.
And break the eggs, and you'd kind of take the little baby birds inside, and you'd kind of carry them around and use them as bait. And again, not only was it kind of a cool mechanic, because you were slower as you carried these things around. But also, I think it really helped with the character of Kratos. I mean, here he is, cracking open eggs and ripping out little infant birds and using them for his own desires, and really pissing off this mama bird. I thought was pretty cool. So here's just another quick idea. These are almost like little sketches for levels, where you have a big open environment, and then you've got the walls come down and it becomes a maze, and you either do something and the walls come back up, or it's on a timer. I mean, we did tons of these things, where I'd have an idea, or a designer would have an idea. Try something like this. So this level is actually the level that we went so far as that we showed the press, we got it in magazines, and this was really a hard cut for us to make, and especially for me to make. I love the mechanic of it, and I love the platforming and the concept. And the concept was that you're riding this elevator, and if you get knocked off, obviously you'll die. And if you get off the elevator, the idea was it was going to originally be being chased by this massive sandstorm. And the elevator was really the only thing. It was sort of a magical elevator that protected you from the sand. And if you got off the elevator would bypass you, and the sandstorm would engulf you and kill you. And the two things we didn't have time to do is we didn't have time to tune it, and we didn't have time to build the sandstorm. But what I loved was this whole idea of getting off the elevator and having to catch back up with it. So
there's fortunes, but time is still citing me again.
You'd be forced to get off the elevator.
If I went for that, this would take longer.
Paths.
5 hours.
Path, it was more combat.
Which we never accomplished.
So easy. And as you can see, we had this pretty much finished from a standpoint of the art and the setup, but we were missing the big sandstorm, and we were missing the tuning time to really make this fun, and so it ended up getting cut. This I love. This was great. This is great. I love this. The elevator now gets smaller. I guess we talked about putting this in the actual, see, they suck. Whoever played this couldn't keep up with the elevator, but that was the whole idea, trying to keep up with the elevator. So it's tough. It's really tough when you have to cut ideas that you're really passionate about out of the game, but you do so you can make the other ideas that you do have in the game shine even brighter. So it's sort of a constant process, or it's a constant aspect of the process that's just a really tough thing that you go through, but I think it's worth it because it makes the overall product better.